For some young voters, President Trump's win over Hillary Clinton was just too much to handle. But now one liberal college professor wants to drop the voting age to 16. Is that a good idea? Here now to debate it, political analyst with Media DC, Ron Meyer, and Democratic strategist Sarah Badawi. Thank you so very much for both being here. And I want to read the tweet from Harvard professor Laurence Tribe. He writes, teens between 14 and 16 have far better BS detectors on average than adults 18 and older. Wouldn't it be great if the voting age were lowered to 16? Just a pipe dream, I know, but hashtag children's are crusade. Yeah, boy, that's tough to read. Sorry, the way they wrote it in the prompter. Let me start off with you, Sarah. We all know that. We all know, by and large, Democrats, or the youth, I should say, votes Democratic. Isn't this just a ploy to get more in the base of the Dems?
Well, I think ploy is a strong word here. This wasn't a serious proposal, but I think what Professor Tribe is getting at is a lot of cities have had much success lowering the voting age to 16. But really the point of this moment is that young people are being mobilized in a way we've never seen before. And it seems to me that they're the only ones with common sense in the room right now. We have people that hold power that continuously watch these mass shootings and refuse to do simple things like pass stronger background checks and ban the assault weapons that we're seeing repeatedly in these school shootings. So I think whether it's a serious proposal or not, it's drawing a stark contrast with the people who actually hold power and the students mobilizing to make a difference.
Ron, what do you think?
Well, I think young people are definitely willing to have, are open-minded, willing to have lots of conversations, but this is definitely an attempt that if you can't win elections, you change the electorate. If you think the American people are too stupid, or the younger people are more educated, or whatever he's trying to imply here, they have better BS detectors. I think that's what you try to do. You try to change the electorate. And I think the Democratic Party has had a history of trying to do that. And so, but the question is, well, then what's next? Should the voting age be 15? I think some people are ready to vote when they're 16. Some people really aren't ready to vote till after they're adults. And so the idea is that when you become a legal adult, when you have to start paying taxes, that's when the right to vote comes. And I think that's what's made sense for many, many years. And if you do 16, there's no reason why you shouldn't go lower than that. And I think the Republican Party, and I'm all for youth empowerment, and if you look at the Republican Party, there have been more elected officials under the age of 30 from the Republican Party than the Democratic Party in the last 5 years by leaps and bounds.
So, obviously, we all agree here that Larry Tribe's tweet is really more to get reaction than a reality. But I'm trying to put this into a realistic context. Forget all the politics here. Do you think a 16-year-old, 17-year-old has the wherewithal at this point to, and the time? Because I'm trying to put myself in this position. When I was 16, 17, I barely had enough time to get my schoolwork done, much less delve into the political issues of the day. What do you say about that, Sarah?
Todd, I think you can make the same argument about many people over the age of 18 that choose not to be responsible and choose not to participate in civic engagement. But what this is really about is expanding voter access. We should be doing more to make it easier for people of color and poor people to vote by rolling back super strict voter ID laws that inherently disenfranchise people. We should empower people through same-day voter registration. And we should also be able to have Election Day be a national holiday so that everybody who wants to vote has no barrier to doing so. So I don't think this is about whether or not people are 16 or older or whatever. It's more about making sure that people who have the right to vote are not encumbered by anything standing in their way.
Ron, last word to you. What are your thoughts on this proposal?
I was going to say, I think the biggest difference is look at who's trying to empower young people versus who's trying to pander to young people. Democrats want to pander to younger voters. Republicans are electing younger voters. Just a couple of years ago, there was only a handful of elected officials under 30 in the entire country. Now there's a handful in every state. At age 28, I'm not even the youngest elected official in my own county anymore, much less the Commonwealth of Virginia. And so we're seeing the Republican Party saying, yes, we do need younger voices to have a stake at the table. And the Democrats really aren't electing younger people. And so that's the voice of the future.
Got to leave it there. Sarah, Ron, thank you very much.
Have
a great day.